So today I'm at STIAS, the Stellenbosch Institute for Advanced Study, I think it's the acronym stands for. It's a research center at the University of Stellenbosch, and this is at the Wallenberg research facility, and we're here for a social impact symposium. The idea is that universities as public institutions in South Africa certainly have a responsibility to do research in all of the various faculties, the sciences, the arts, the humanities, to do their research in such a manner that it has a positive impact on the societies that they have the privilege to serve. So today we are learning a little bit about social impact, about creative and wonderful ways in which each of the different faculties can do their work, and I'll be interviewing one or two people as we go through the day, and sitting inside an air-conditioned room. Man, it's a beautiful day out today, and I'd love to have a bit more time outside, but yeah, it's important work. So let's go inside and get connected to the folks who are thinking about how a university can learn from its community and serve its community through engaged research. Here we go. Today, and we're at the Stellenbosch University Symposium for Social Impact, and I'm standing here with Llewellyn MacMaster. Llewellyn, tell us, what is social impact?
Yeah, I think in short it's we've discussed it and we had community interaction all these years, but we want to really make sure that what we're doing in the communities is not just interaction for the sake of interaction, but that there's really an impact in terms of transformational change that we, through our actions, teaching and learning, research, and also volunteerism, you know, really contribute to the development of people and communities. So there's a significant change in it, you know, and we're busy now also looking at how do you actually measure that, because that isn't still open. But I think we're moving in that direction to say that, you know, let us look back and say, if we have started a project in a certain community, what was the outcome? Is that significant change?
You know, the thing that's struck me this morning, Llewellyn, was this notion that a university, certainly in South Africa, is a public institution, and we have a responsibility to work for the common good. What do you think about that?
No, absolutely. I think that, especially in Stellenbosch case, I think where Stellenbosch was, there was always this thing, even among students, that this is a bubble, you know. We're doing our thing, but the rest of South Africa, not even the world, is going through changes, but we are fine. I think that has changed. So people are more aware. I think definitely had to do with the change in demographics also, because that brings a certain impact also in the way we do our business at university. So yes, we are definitely here, we're a public institution, and we there to contribute to the common good.
Thanks, Llewellyn. This guy's a natural. He should be in front of the camera much more. Thanks, Llewellyn.
Thank you.
Standing with Dr. Nadine Bowes de Toit, and Nadine, you're the head of social impact in the Faculty of Theology. Tell us a bit about that faculty and what the faculty is doing, and what you think our responsibility is in terms of social impact.
So I think that sounds rather grand. I think most of the work is done by colleagues in the centres, also our students who are engaged as volunteers, as well as staff and faculty who are really heavily engaged in volunteerism, as well as in what we call engaged scholarship. And I think our faculty is really strong. I think listening to some of the presentations, good ones from other faculties, but I'm really confident in the fact that not only are students conscientized, because that's a key thing. We want students to understand values of social justice, how we understand hope and healing, and how we see transformative change for society. So we're involved on several levels, actually many levels, both with local communities as well as with the global community, on issues such as gender-based violence, youth development, restorative justice. There's so many that I can't even name them, and particularly through the good work that our centres does in terms of keeping us really rooted at grassroots but also internationally relevant. So really proud, especially particularly of our two flagship projects, Ecclesia, which serves communities, congregations and denominations, and the Unit for Religious and Demographic Research, serving NPOs and also churches with research excellence, the Base Nadir Centre, facilitating lots of good dialogue in the public sphere on the role of the church and society. Man, there's so many more NetAct with their work on the continent, with seminaries, and in terms of mainstreaming things like gender, as well as theology development. So exciting stuff happening.
Nadine, one of the things that struck me in your presentation was that you made the point that as an institution which is engaged in credible research, we have a responsibility not only to dump our research on communities, but very often the kind of work that we're engaged in, what we learn and the enriching of our understanding actually comes from the communities. Give us an idea or two of how that works and why it's important.
So I really think that's embodied in the value of reciprocity, that we're not only dumping, as you say, but we are also listening to the most marginalized voices and even learning from the most marginalized communities. I think part of that goes to research ethics, particularly when we're talking about engaged scholarship, that, as you say, it's not just a research dump, but that even communities become engaged in the action research that we're doing, and that the kind of research that we're doing actually serves the work that they're doing. So things like program evaluations, action research goes back to helping denominations, faith-based organizations, and local churches reflect on their current practices in a way that helps them to sort of informs their practice. So for me, that's what it's about. Also, I think with service learning, many of us are engaged with communities, local faith-based organizations in Kaimani and also broader than Kaimani, and in the way we as lecturers facilitate that interaction, that they actually feel, listen, we're benefiting from having these students volunteer. And I know that faith-based organizations in particular have said we want theology students because they bring a different ethos.
Absolutely. Nadine, thanks so much for your insights today. I think the thing that we are hearing both from Nadine and from Llewellyn is that as theologians, as people who have the privilege to be able to read and to think, our responsibility is to learn from the communities in which we work and live, but also to be able to add value. We have a responsibility to contribute towards the common good. So remember, it's not a lecture, it's just a thought, but we want to invite you. Think about ways in which you can use your scholarship in an engaged manner to work for the good of all. Thanks, Nadine. She's a natural as well.